Good morning. How you guys doing? It is Tuesday here in almost Southern California. It is 50 degrees. It's cold for us. That's why you see the sweater. And it's supposed to rain for today, tomorrow, and Thursday. You know we don't do well with all this rain. I surely wish I had one of those jobs where I could work from home. Because now driving has really just... Driving is triggering. One, because I drive quite a ways. My commute is anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Excuse me, depending on traffic. And so it puts me at a much higher risk for accidents, which I've had. And so it's just very, very it's triggering. And you know, then of course when you drive like this, there's always something going on with the car. And you know, in the world of lactation, you're not gonna be rich. So not that kind of rich. So we working on it. Working on it. So for you guys who are joining me for the first time, my name is Lydia O'Boyd. I'm a lactation specialist here in Los Angeles. I provide support to expectant and breastfeeding families. I support families as they're returning to work and school, and those who are ending their breastfeeding relationship, whether they are weaning or in the event of a loss. You can find me all over social media at Lydia O'Boyd CLE. You can email me, lydia@lydiaoboyd.com, and you can find my website at bit.ly/Lydia's resources. My support comes in in-person connections as well as virtual connections. And virtual connections can be telephone calls, conference calls, webinars, video chat. Also, I am a speaker and a teacher. So I am the person that if you would like to add a breastfeeding class to your services, to maybe a group that you have, a church or anything like that, you can. If you are looking to do a segment, maybe you're doing a health fair or something like that, and you would like to include breastfeeding, then definitely contact me. I am your girl. So, what am I talking about today? Well, yesterday I talked about some concerns that I raised about the heavy marketing of herbal supplements that are supposed to help increase milk supply. And I talked about, you know, how the marketing can cause families to believe automatically out the gate that that's something that they need, when in reality it's not. We need to know how to read our babies. We need to know about milk production, and in a lot of cases it really truly is not a low milk supply issue. Okay, so today one of the things that I want to talk about is why we need to be consistent with using our breast, whether we are latching a baby or pumping. Okay, so, and this is a thing that I find that a lot of times moms who are concerned and they want to start using these herbal supplements, that they're not doing is using their breast consistently, and so then they're rightfully so seeing a decrease in milk supply. But they would prefer to go take a pill. And even with that, they have this misconception that, well, if I take this pill, if I drink this tea, then all of a sudden I'm going to be a Jersey made cow and I'm going to have all this milk. No. And something to consider, even with that Jersey made cow. One of the reasons why PETA is so mad at, you know, people who drink milk and dairy products, because of the farming industry. It's the same thing. You're still working with mammary glands. You're still working with the body that requires reverse accounting, demand and supply. The more you demand of the body, the more milk you'll make. Okay? So, and this is one of the reasons why, if you watch me for some time, you know I am not a fan of taking breastfeeding breaks. If we're having a nipple we have nipple trauma, if we have sore nipples, that's a latch problem, okay? And instead of taking a break, we need to fix the problem. When you're engorged, it's not about taking a break. You need to breastfeed even more so you can get all that backed up milk out. Will it hurt? Absolutely. But you letting the milk stay there is going to hurt. And then by the time the milk reabsorbs, because that's really what you're saying that you're going to do, is then you don't have a milk supply. So that is not, it's counterproductive. And I get, we look at it sometimes like we look at exercise. And even with that, that's not even a wise choice, because any trainer will tell you that, okay, you worked out, maybe your first time you haven't worked out in a while, and now you're sore, right? What you don't do is then take a week off to get rid of the soreness and then come back, because when you come back, you're going to be sore all over again. So the best bet is to work through, right? Work through. There's some other things that you do. You need to address why you're sore. Maybe you need to stretch more. Maybe you need to hydrate. In some cases, if you're afforded that, maybe a massage will help. Maybe after your workout, you need to take an ice bath, or you need to take a warm, a warm bath to get those muscles to relax, and that kind of stuff. Maybe taking some fish oil will help equal out things so that those muscles can relax. So, but what we don't do is take a break, right? Well, the same thing with breastfeeding, all right? So, if there is an issue with the latch and we're having an issue with pain, then we need to address that. Don't just stop altogether, right? We need to fix the latch. So, sitting at home and not breastfeeding your baby and thinking, oh, well, I can just start back, it doesn't work that way, okay? Don't just take a break and not use your breast. You have to continually use your breast. If you don't use your breast, then what ends up happening is then you have to do the heavy lifting, the hard work of building up your milk supply. And I can tell you right now, the average family does not have the endurance to do that. And I'm not being overly negative or anything like that. It's they don't have the understanding, one. Two, it takes quite a bit to build that milk supply up, and you got to be patient and you got to be consistent. So if this is something that you stopped and now you've let your milk supply go, say you took a break for a week, right? You took a break for a week, that was your bright idea, and then you come see me and say, okay, well, I'm going to start breastfeeding again. So what do I do? Because the baby won't take the breast. So now we have to work to get a baby back to the breast, and we have to build up your milk supply. And in the background, you got somebody saying, well, you can't starve the baby. Or mom herself is feeling like, well, I need to do all this. I want to do all this. But, yeah, we don't take breaks, okay? You have to use your breast consistently. So now if you're really concerned about a low milk supply, you really are going to have to use your breast consistently. So then that means if you say you don't have your milk supply is not just all the way gone, right? Say it's low. It's just maybe when you pump, and again, pumping is not how we measure measure your milk supply. But when you pump, whereas before you were getting maybe 4 ounces, now you're getting an ounce, right? Maybe when the baby's at the breast, the baby is a little bit more fussy, right? So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to keep the baby to the breast a little bit longer. In these cases, if you make the decision that you're going to take a tea, a cookie, or something like that, that is not going to be the fix. That is an aid. It is an aid. It is not going to make everything just right, okay? And then also remember what I said yesterday is you only get a week. That's if you're being consistent. If you're not being consistent, then I may push you and let you take it for another week, giving you a total of 2 weeks. But really, honestly, you're only supposed to do these things for a week, and then you're supposed to stop. Okay? Some of you guys are living off of this stuff, and at this point, you really don't truly see your natural milk supply. And in most cases, you're swearing that you don't have a healthy milk supply, but in reality, you probably do. You just haven't allowed your body to show you what it can do. Okay? So what we need to do is then use our breasts to the point that we can actually see. So that means that every feeding we need to use our breast, whether that's latching the baby or we're pumping. And if in your mind it's like, oh, well, what's the big deal? I couldn't pump this time. I got busy. I had to go to the store, so I didn't pump. And then when I got home, I just decided to sit down and watch TV. Then your milk supply is not that important to you. You have to look at it that way. If this is what you want, you have to be consistent, and you really, really have to do the heavy lifting to get your milk supply back up. Okay? So, you have to use your breast. So for every feeding, that means in the morning, in the middle of the night. Yes, that means that you're going to have to wake up and use your breast. So when you have a latch problem, that means you're going to have to come in and, you know, have some work done with the latch. That means that you may have to come back a couple times. You can work on it at home, right? But then if it's not working for you, you're still struggling with getting the baby on, then that means then you're going to have to come back. Being discouraged after one time, so you come in, we work with the baby, and then you get home and you can't seem to get it by yourself, then you need to come back. Now here, pay attention. For those of you who've taken algebra, any of those things that you need tutoring, right? Calculus, biology, chemistry, microbiology, right? All that kind of stuff, right? Do you just go to tutoring just one time? If you go to tutoring just one time, you really didn't need that much help, right? But those of you who really needed help, you have to go back to tutoring, right? You go a couple times. You know, for those of you who are supporters and you have kids that, you know, gone through college or high school or whatever, and you had to pay for some tutoring, you didn't pay for just one class. You paid for a session, for a series of sessions, right? So that means that you have to go back a couple times. Several times, maybe. I have several moms who have come back. They'll go home, right? They'll work with me, right? They'll work with me. And then they'll go home and try it for a day or two. And then they'll come back. Okay. They'll come and work with me. And then they'll go home. And then they'll stay at home for that day. Come back to the support group. And during the support group, we'll work on the latch again. And then before the week is out, they may go home, try it, or they may come back the next day by themselves so they can truly focus. That's being consistent. So what do you do if you don't have the time? You don't have time like that. Then you work with somebody like me who has phone support, video chat, things like that. You need to check in. But you don't give up. You don't take a break. You're not like, well, I couldn't get the baby on, so I just pumped. You can, but if your goal is to put the baby to the breast, then you can't take a break. Right? So that's just like, I really want to learn this microbiology, but my eyes got tired looking at all these formulas, and I just couldn't get it. So I'm going to take 2 days off and take a break. So while you're taking microbiology, are you learning the formulas if you're taking these breaks? Are you going to be ready for the test next week? No. So you got to put in the work. So no breaks. Your herbal supplements are not just a fix. They're not magic, right? You may see an increase. And for those who are seeing the most of an increase, usually are the ones who are actually using their breast. Now, yeah, you can take something and your boobs will get full. But if you're not using your boobs and you're just walking around full, or you're waiting until and that's another thing. Do not wait until your breasts get full to use them. That's not how this works. You need to use your breast for every time the baby eats. So sometimes when I talk to people and they're having latch problems, right? They're having latch problems. And so they're not putting the baby to the breast because they're having latch problems. So they're pumping. So then I ask them, you're having latch problems. How often are you putting the baby to the breast? Well, I can't. Okay, well, what are you doing to work on the latch? Are you calling to come in? Well, no, because I want to know. I need to get some milk. Okay. And part of the problem is they don't know what to do. So, what is it that you would like to do? I would like to breastfeed. Okay. So then, can you come in? No. Okay. So then, how are you going to get your milk to the baby? I mean, I'm a pump. Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. So now, you're going to pump. How many times in 24 hours are you pumping? 2? Okay, help me understand why you're pumping only twice a day. No, first I'll say, how many times in 24 hours is the baby eating? And they'll come up with maybe every 2 hours. Is that every 2 hours including the nighttime? Yes. Okay, so then that's 12 times in 24 hours. And you're only pumping twice. Do you have enough milk for the baby? No, so I had to start giving formula. Consider this. Remember I said you need to use your breast for every feeding. So consider that maybe 2 times a day, pumping twice a day is not enough to sustain your baby. I would highly suggest that you would increase the number of times that you're pumping. I would increase the number of times that you're pumping to meet the needs of your baby. And if your baby is feeding 12 times a day, then you should be pumping 12 times a day. And then people hear 12 times a day, that's a lot. It is. It's one of the reasons why I don't encourage families to consider pumping as their only means instead of putting the baby to the breast. But it's a lot, because then that means that you got to get up and give that bottle, and then you got to turn around and pump. It's a lot of work. And no, you can't take a break. So let's just say for the mom who took a break and she's only pumping twice a day, she's having latch problems, so we come in and I help her with the latch. We finally get the baby on. Maybe it was easy. Maybe it wasn't, hadn't already made a hard decision that they were just going to take a bottle. So we get the baby to the breast, right? And she's able to get the baby to the breast. It's not an issue of her getting the baby to the breast. But now, her milk supply is so low that now we may see a fussy baby who is working to build up this milk supply, and a mom who's really not used to being present. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Not being present for these feedings, because if she's giving bottles and she had been formula feeding, somebody else is feeding this baby, somebody else is helping her. But now she's required to participate in every feeding, and she's at the breast, right? So then she comes back and she was like, well, my cousin told me about these cookies. Can I take those cookies? You can, but you're still gonna use your breast. It may make your feedings a little bit easier, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have to do the heavy lifting, building up your milk supply by using your breast for every feeding. And right now, your baby is feeding 12 times in 24 hours. That means you got to be Johnny on the spot 12 times in 24 hours every day. It wouldn't be heavy lifting if we had started this from the get-go and we just didn't take a break, and if we continue to use our breasts, right? I get maybe we were having latch problems, but when we have latch problems, that's why we need to have them addressed immediately. And so for the supporters who are listening, you have to encourage your people to address that. That's when you become a supporter and say, do you have somebody that's helping you with breastfeeding? I can take you to go see them. Let's get you there. Okay? I can get you there. That means if you got to put mom and the baby with the car seat in an Uber or a Lyft, some kind of ride share, you get someone to come pick them up, or you pay for a home visit if they can't come out the house, then that's what you do. Right? That's why I offer the gift certificate, so you can provide that to a family. So cost is not an issue. We just work around how we're going to get the support. Right? So that's one of the things you do. And for WIC families, that's not even an issue. You just say, oh, okay, I can get you there. Right? I'll get you there. I'll get you there. That's what we do. Okay? So, let's do that. So, any questions on anything that I've shared? I know I was a bit, not as nice and soft. But this is one of those things I really have to get this point home, because people really, really don't seem to understand how important it is. And I don't want to use the word severe, but that's what's in my head. How important this is, that you really, really have to get this. You got to get this in your head that you can't take a break, that these herbal supplements are not going to be the fix without you using your breast. Okay? Because in reality, you only have a week if you make the decision to use them. Like, I'm not telling you you can't. I'm not telling you not to. I'm just questioning why you have to use them, and do you really have to use them. But if you make the decision, and it's definitely your decision, if you use them, you have to be prepared to still do the work of using your breast for every feeding. Okay? That's even if you have to follow up with a supplementation, even if you have to follow up with your own, if you're supplementing with your own milk, you still have to use your breast. And even for those who are using the SNS, the supplemental nursing system, you still have to use your breast. Okay? So please let me know if there's anything that you didn't understand. Please let me know. You can comment below. If you're watching this on a different platform other than Instagram, definitely comment. You can hit me up in my instant messenger, or my DMs. You can email me, Lydia at lydiaoboyd.com. You can find me all over social media. So even if you're looking at this and you're somewhere else, you can ask me a question. And you can find my website. So if you would like to work with me, and I know you're like, she's so rough. If you would like to work with me and you're having problems with milk supply, and you're confused on whether you truly do have a milk supply issue, hit me up. You can find my my website at bit.ly/Lydia's Resources. That's bit.ly/Lydia's Resources. Okay? Definitely connect with me. We can work some things out. All right? You guys have an awesome day. Los Angeles folks, you guys be safe. Right now, they said it was supposed to rain, but I'm looking at clear skies. So I don't know where the rain is, but if it does come, you guys be safe. If it doesn't come, you guys be safe. All right? Hug those babies. Do lots and lots of feedings and kissing and snuggling and all that kind of wonderful stuff. Have an awesome day.